Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. So if you're a longtime subscriber of mine, you guys know that I don't really like talking about more popular cases on my channel. I like really highlighting the ones that are less talked about, but the Black Dahlia case is one of my favorites, and I am back with another video. Elizabeth Short was a woman who wanted to become famous for acting, but she unfortunately became famous for a completely different reason. Today we are going over 5 facts about Elizabeth Short, or the Black Dahlia as she was later named. And the last fact, I am including a clip that may be the only clip we have of her during her short-lived life. So with that being said, let's just get into it. Elizabeth Short did not have the easiest of upbringings, and she most definitely probably dealt with a lot of abandonment issues because of her father. She was born in the Hyde Park section of Massachusetts, being the third of 5 daughters to parents Cleo and Phoebe Short. Her father Cleo built miniature golf courses until the stock market crash of 1929. The Great Depression was an economic depression from about 1929 to 1939, and unfortunately during this time period, a lot of people committed suicide because of their financial state. After Elizabeth's father's loss, he also became very down on himself because the entire family lost all their money. In 1930, his car was found abandoned on the Charlestown Bridge in Boston, and everyone assumed that he had taken his own life, as well as many others. Then Elizabeth's mother moved Elizabeth and all her siblings to an apartment in Medford, where her mother got a job as a bookkeeper. As you can probably tell, they were all completely devastated by the fact that they thought he committed suicide, but he actually didn't. He abandoned them because he felt like a failure, and he tried to come back into the picture in 1942. Elizabeth's mother wanted nothing to do with him though because of what he did to them, but Elizabeth, on the other hand, forgave him. Elizabeth sent him a letter asking for money. He sent her some money, and then she used the money to travel to where he lived in Vallejo, California. He wasn't too happy with her arrival, but let her stay with him. She had not seen her father since she was about 6 years old and thought all these years that he was deceased, so you can only imagine how that must have been mentally. Well, while living with him, she stayed out most of the night partying and slept all day, and this caused a lot of tension and arguments between them, and she eventually moved out. We do not really have a lot of information about who Elizabeth was as a person or many of her personality traits, but it's easy to tell that she most likely dealt with abandonment issues, and possibly that's why she tried to find comfort in men, because she didn't have that growing up from her father. It is very heartbreaking, but that's what a lot of people speculate about her. After she moved out from her father's, she went on to live with some friends and work at the base exchange at Camp Cook, later dating an Air Force sergeant who was said to be very abusive towards her. In mid-1943, she moved to Santa Barbara, California, where she would go on to be arrested on September 23, 1943 for underage drinking at a bar, which resulted in her fingerprints and mugshot photo being in the system, which is how she was so easily identified after her death. Her body was found in Leimert Park in Los Angeles on the morning of January 15, 1947 by local resident Betty Bersinger while she was walking her 3-year-old daughter.
As I was walking along, I happened to glance over at my side, and I saw this strange sight. It looked like a mannequin.
Anyone who is familiar with the case of the Black Dahlia knows how extremely mutilated her body was. It was one of the most gruesome crimes America had seen so far. I mean, the person who found her, Betty Bersinger, actually thought that she was just a mannequin that was thrown away because she was so pale and there was no blood. Upon first seeing the body, police did not think it was going to be easy to identify her, but it took less than a day. They took her fingerprints, sent them to the FBI, and they used a fax machine called Sound Photo that was popularly used at the time and ran her fingerprints through their database. They found 2 matches. One was from a job application at the Army base, and the other one was from her 1943 arrest. They used her mugshot photos in the newspapers in the following days to help further their investigation. After her 1943 arrest, she was supposed to be sent back to her family in Medford, but she went to Florida instead to stay with some family friends. This was a place that her mother often sent her during the winter months because Elizabeth had really bad asthma, and being in colder climates made it worse. While in Florida, she met a man named Major Matthew Michael Gordon Jr., who was a U.S. Army Air Force officer who she met on December 31st, 1943 at a New Year's Eve party, and they both fell in love very quickly. He was deployed in India at the time, but they stayed in contact through letters, and according to Elizabeth, in one of those letters, he proposed to her, and she told people that she accepted very, very quickly without any hesitation. On August 10th, 1945, while on his way back to the United States, his plane crashed, killing him instantly. This was an absolutely ginormous loss for Elizabeth. I mean, you have to think that growing up, she was abandoned by her father. She went on to be in a relationship with a man who abused her, and then she met a man she fell in love with, and he tragically passed away. But after Elizabeth's death, Gordon's family strangely denied that they were seriously involved, but a lot of people speculate that it was because they didn't want the publicity. From the time she was last seen to the discovery of her body, there are a few days where we have no idea where she was. On January 8th, 1947, she spent a night partying with one of the men she was seeing named Robert Red Manley. Robert was a 25-year-old married salesman. According to Robert, they spent the night out. Then they went back to the hotel room where he slept on the bed and Elizabeth slept in the chair because she said that she didn't feel well. The next morning, on January 9th, he dropped her off at the Biltmore Hotel. That day, Elizabeth was supposed to go out with her sister. When Robert dropped her off, she was making a phone call in the lobby. He didn't stay because he had an appointment, so he left, and then not long after, Elizabeth left the hotel, and that was the last time hotel staff or Robert or anyone else saw her. There were a few supposed sightings of her. One was at a lounge, one was sitting in a diner she frequented, one was at a train station, one a bar, and one a market. But just like most any case, these could never be proven. Where she went during those 6 days, which is almost a week, we have no idea, but it is speculated that that day of the 9th she was abducted or she met up with her killer because she never met up with her sister. People think that she was abducted the day of the 9th and that she was tortured for quite a few days and ultimately died because of her injuries and then was dropped off in the park. Now, a subscriber of mine commented on my last Black Dahlia video, and they sent me a link to a video on Steve Hodel's YouTube page, and I had to check it out because it is supposed to be the only clip that we have of Elizabeth Short during her life, and I was just amazed. I mean, we don't know for sure if it is her, but just take a look. The clip was found by the producer of the 48 Hours Black Dahlia Confidential television show when the producer was looking for clips from the 1940s to put in the show. The clip was taken during the celebration of the victory over Japan on August 15, 1945 in the 6600 Hollywood block of Hollywood Boulevard.
It's LA on VJ Day. Revelers pour down Hollywood Boulevard. Girls lean out of cars. Soldiers and sailors run up and grab kisses. There's a pretty dark-haired girl caught in close-up. It's Betty Short. She's young. She's vibrant. She lives.
During this clip, the woman who looks like Elizabeth is in a convertible with 6 other women, which is kind of strange because not long after summer, Elizabeth did live with a group of women kind of close to Hollywood Boulevard. Elizabeth did move around a lot, but we do know that in the summer of 1944 and the summer of 1946, she was in California. We don't know if she was there for sure in California during the summer of 1945 when this event took place, but we do know that she did go to Florida during the winter month of 1945, so she may have been in California on August 15th, 1945. If she was in California on August 15th, 1945, she would probably be out celebrating with everyone else. I have seen every documentary and episode about the Black Dahlia case. I've always been extremely interested in it since I was probably about like 10 years old, and I had never seen this clip before, and I was stumped. Like, I could not stop watching it. I'm usually very skeptical about clips and photos that possibly look like people because I'm always like, you know, it does, but like the nose is off, the eyes are off, the mouth is off. Like, this looks like her. And also it's in color, which is amazing. But let me know down below in the comments what you think. Like, please tell me if you think that this could possibly be her. So I hope that you guys enjoyed that video, and if you want to know more about the Black Dahlia case, I have a ton of links down below, and I will also link you guys my Black Dahlia conspiracy theories video. If you enjoyed that video and you're not already, definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button and also like this video if you liked it, and make sure to comment down below. I love you guys so much, and we'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. And of course, like always, a huge shout out to my patrons. Thank you for the support. You guys are amazing.